Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and happy Sunday. Welcome to day 18 of our Yin yoga practice. Today we will be doing Yin with some Pranayama, a little bit of a flow. And of course, whatever you are comfortable doing, do. And if you are not comfortable or if it does cause pain, release the pressure. As I continue to speak, come into your regular breath, come into a seated position, either sitting flat on your bottom. You can have a pillow to lift the hips. Close your eyes, allow the hands to rest on the knees, palms facing downwards for a sense of knowing, palms facing upward to receive knowledge. And with every breath, lift your spine, open your heart, lengthen your breath. Come into your space, whatever's happening outside of your body, whatever's happening beyond my voice, allow it to wait. Let it go. Allow this time for yourself. And as we continue to focus on your breath, activating the diaphragm, expanding from all sides, upwards, downwards, sideways, feeling the expansion in the physical body and how that creates a sense of lightness in the rest of your corporal experience. Breathing into the diaphragm, imagine the balloon in your belly. And as we continue to move upwards, the space now moving into our ribs. Feel that side expansion, intercostal muscles stretching. And as you continue these two parts of the breath, add in the third upper regions, the clavicular, thoracic, throat, your face spaces, and feel all of the cavities filling up. And take no rush here. Stay here for as long as you need. In fact, we are due for a full hour of pranayama coming soon, but not quite today. I'm still feeling movement is required for our long days of sitting online. Start to feel those waves of your breath. I'm going to introduce the Viloma Pranayama now, and if you were with me a few days ago, you will remember it, and if this is your first time, I will guide you through it. So basically, we are going to act as though our inhale is on a staircase, and then that our exhale is on a staircase. So inhale for about 2 seconds, hold for about 2 seconds. Inhale again, and then hold again. Follow that breath. And again, 2 seconds might not be your pace. It might be half a second. It might be 3 seconds. Whatever you are doing, have a 1-to-1 ratio. So inhale and hold. Inhale, hold. Inhale, hold. Once you reach the top, follow that same ratio going down. Exhale, hold. Exhale, hold. Exhale, hold. We'll do this for about a minute. Again, if you feel dizziness, lightheadedness, come into a child's position, stop the breath. Otherwise, when you're ready, and I will use my hand to guide you. You don't have to use your hand. Your hands can stay on the knees. Your fingers can take a mudra, many different kinds of mudra. It also deserves another yoga class. So when you are ready, exhaling completely. And when you're ready, Slow the breath down. There's no rush here. Continuing till you hit the top of your breath capacity, and again until you hit the low exhalation of your capacity. And continuing here, finishing off this round that you're on. Good, very nice. And again, if you need to adjust your legs at any time, feel free, feel welcome, feel comfortable. Otherwise, of course, you can use the wall to keep your body strengthening and lifting at any time. We'll continue our warm-up, stretching out the neck. So inhaling, arms up, shoulders down. Let's take the left fingers to the outside of the right temple and just bringing them down. Fingers of the opposite hand can tent or flatten. And once they touch, inhale all the way up and let the body continue leaning. The fingers come off the temple to create a foundation on your forearm. Inhaling, looking up past the opposite arm, and exhaling, bring the hand down into a twist, pressing into the palms, looking behind you. Oh yeah. And inhale, opposite side. So both arms up, bringing them to the side, and then right fingers to the outside of the left temple, bringing the opposite arm down, whether you're tenting or flattening the palm. And once the fingers touch, inhaling up. And continue down, let the gravity pull you, and exhale, bringing the upper arm down and twisting. Oh, good. And exhale, coming back to center. Again, arms out to the side, palms facing upwards, stretching the fingers. Let's come in for a hug. Nobody to hug these days in our social isolation days, except my little puppy doggies, my little puppy boys. And inhale, whatever hand was just on top, opposite hand now. And you can put a little bit of a roundedness in the back. Inhaling up, and exhale, coming out to all the way up now. And again, hands into the elbows, making that sense of a picture frame that you're squaring your shoulders down, lifting the spine. I'm just holding here for a moment. Are you ready? Exhaling, arms down, interlace the fingers behind the back, dropping the shoulders, lengthening the arms, opening the eyes of the elbows, and then inhaling up, coming in for a nice forward fold. We'll hold here for a few breaths. Taking your next inhale, let's fold upwards, plant the palms behind you, fingers are pointing towards the toes, and lift the hips. Make sure both knees are nice and flat. Ankles can be crossed, or indeed the feet can just be touching, the tips of the toes touching, and exhale down. We're going to come into our first yin position using a block, a pillow, a book, a brick, anything at all. You can use a chair, anything that's going to give you a bit of leverage. This asana is for you, Yukiko, my dear darling Yuki. I'm so sorry. Yesterday, I know I promised we would have one, and then it got lost. So we are going to use two blocks here if you would like a little bit of extra neck support. Otherwise, one is fine. We've done this before. So one is going to be for our head. This one is going to come into our shoulder blades. So again, I like to put it so it's the narrow side coming into my shoulder blades, whether I'm on the lowest I guess the lowest won't get that thick, but the medium and the high, you'll get the thick part. If you're down low, that's absolutely fine. That might just get a nice bit of pressure. You might want to put it this way so you can get both shoulder blades right underneath. Otherwise, we're going to keep our knees bent for this position. That'll give an extra release in the lower back. And we are going to hold this, our first yin, for 2 minutes once we find it. So same distance that we just had when we were coming back into our lift like this. We want to have that same kind of distance. And that's just about where our block should be. Okay, so we can start to lean back, setting the block in, and again, you can do a little bit of a test just by squeezing, squeezing your shoulder blades and see if you need to adjust a little bit to the side, a little bit higher or lower. It's very personal. Take your time to come into the practice. And if you don't have a block or something that you feel is just not going to work, put your legs up the wall. And you can just start to elevate your bottom, and you can do that with blankets or anything. Just start to give a bit of an elevation to your tailbone. Okay, so when you're ready, a little stuck in there sometimes. And opposite, where the second block can be used as a bit of a headrest. Bending the knees is going to help to release any pressure in the lower back. You can play with it and feel the difference. When you straighten them, you'll get that extra bit of a curve in the lumbar spine. So keep the knees bent. Keep your hips angling forward, tilting forward. And just feel the openness in your chest. And this is such an important pose for our spine. We've all gone online. Congratulations, everybody. The whole world is suddenly now on the computer way more than we ever wanted to, ever. And unless we find some radical solution, which is part of what this yoga practice is about, then we're going to have to also need those counter positions at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, or every hour. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Just every hour, our chair just comes back. We just press a little button, and we go in this position just for 1 minute. So imagine 60 minutes leaning over a computer compared to 1 minute. What a major advantage you will have. Set your alarms, set your phones, set your timers. Hold this for another few breaths here, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes goes quickly. And just let everything fall off the shoulders, roll down the spine. Allow that hardness of the block to accept any resistance that you are providing. And when you're ready, keeping the chin coming upwards, tucked into the chest, moving on to the elbows, and let's come forward. We can remove the blocks, and let's come forward onto our knees. We'll come into a Vajrasana, and just as a bit of a counter pose, we will come into a child's position. Not for a long hold, just for a minute and a little bit of a transition. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, arms up, shoulders down, and exhale, forward folding, and keeping the knees together, toes together. Once the hands find a comfortable place on the ground, start to walk them forward. Let the head roll down. Forehead is on the ground. Now here you've got a battle of tension. The fingers walking forward, the shoulders dropping downward. Breathe into the side body. A little bit of a deeper stretch in the shoulders here. And if you need to ease off of the hands, that's fine. You can bring them back a little bit closer. Otherwise, we're going to come into we've done this before. We're going to move through a rounded back into an upward dog or an easy type of cobra. And again, your body is your teacher. Whatever
feels good or whatever doesn't quite work today, that's absolutely fine. On your next inhale, keeping the chin tucked into the chest until the very last moment. Inhale, coming up. And if this is your position, that's fine. You can stay here. You can do a few cat-cow. Otherwise, let's keep going forward. So drop the hips. Chin is still in the chest. And the last thing that comes up is the head. And tips of the toes are together. Your fingers are strong. Your first knuckle taking the weight. And reverse. So the chin, the first thing to come in. Follow the spine. Okay, so whether you're in a tabletop cat-cow or whether you're coming from the child all the way to the cobra, any movement of this vertebrae, oh yeah, and if you are here, really let the front body drop down. You can kind of let the hips roll side to side for a minute, and you don't have to stay completely straight. Okay, if you want to swing the hips a little bit side to side. Explore your spaces here. Explore all the different avenues and dimensions of your body. And one last one here. And let's inhale. Come back to Vajrasana, which is where we are sitting on both feet. We'll stretch out our ankles. This is a love it or hate it type of position. So coming into a balance if it's comfortable, otherwise using the hands. You can even bring a mudra. Mudra is different hand bindings, hand gestures. And stay there as long as you like. It's a wonderful place to be. Otherwise, shifting the weight forward and stretching out the toes and the soles. Don't forget about the little baby one. Often gets left behind. It's going to fall off soon as we evolve, particularly as we spend so much time sitting. We'll develop those horns in the back of our head and all of our toes will fall off. We don't need balance for walking anymore. So now if this is terribly uncomfortable, do leave this position. Come back to a regular Vajrasana or Thunderbolt position. Otherwise, we'll come into a bit of a stretch and a side bend. So inhaling up. And exhale, just coming down, trying to get the fingers right beside you, but don't compromise your position. You want to stay nice and squared in the shoulders and reaching up and opposite side, coming down. And again, hips are squared forward, shoulders are stacked upon one another, keeping everything as though you're working between two planes of glass. And inhale. And we're just going to come into a bit of a squat. Now, again, not everybody loves the squat. If you don't love it, you can just stay in this thinker position, kind of something like that, okay? Otherwise, let's come into the squat. And again, here, we're going to do a little bit of movement. And if you're not comfortable with it, you can, again, just sort of stay in this thinker and explore the position there. We'll come to you in just a moment. Otherwise, opening the feet, I do encourage you to try. It is a lot of fun, and I'll do it from a few different angles here. So with the feet pointing out, 45-degree angle, elbows trying to really nudge themselves to the inside of the knees, hands into prayer. This is Malasana, or a version of. Breathing nice and deeply. If this is where you're comfortable, stay here. Otherwise, into Bakasana or crane, or the easy crane version anyway. So keeping the elbows where they are, hands down, flatten the palm, weight is onto that first finger and shift the weight. You don't have to balance here. You can just shift the weight and play with that. It's a hip opener. If you do want to lift your feet, absolutely fine. And when we come back down, okay, so moving from the Malasana to Bakasana, and then to a reverse table. So coming back and just walking the hands back, lifting, and exhale, rolling into our V-sitting position, and taking a little tumble, and inhaling back up to Malasana. So we'll do that a few times. So Malasana, Bakasana. I'm going to move these blocks because I'm going to smash into them. And that'll be the end of me. Malasana, Bakasana. Coming into a reverse table lift. And Navasana, hold and rocking. And open leg, Malasana. Bakasana. And reverse table lift. And exhale into a V sitting and rock. One more time. Inhale, Malasana. And of course, we are breathing, Bakasana. Reverse table lift. And rock and roll. Now we're just going to rock here for a moment, getting all anything that we just stirred up. We want to flatten it out. It's like after my acupuncture. My acupuncturist has this, I don't know what it's called, but it's this, it's like he's buttering me. That's what I say. It's like it's this thing that kind of grooves out all the muscles. It's just beautiful. Katie Warren, what's it called? Okay, everybody, we're going to come back to a Vajrasana. So however you get there is up to you. I'm going to use my momentum through a squat and a little bit of a toe stretch and back to Vajrasana. Okay, so if you've been here, you'll be eager to leave here. Let's have our left leg coming into a thinking position. Angle forward, stretching out the back of the heel, back of the ankle. One breath here. And let's come into an easy twist. So inhale, arms up. Opposite elbow to the opposite knee. Just a bit of a twist here. We're going to go through a sequence. And coming back to center. We're now going to cross that leg over. Again, holding just for one breath into a bit of a balance. And notice your balance, how it may have changed from yesterday and today. And let's exhale, drop the leg down. We'll come into a figure four. So again, we want to cross the ankle directly over the knee, and we're going to hold here. A bit of a balance, or you can use your hands. Good. And again, just one breath, and now moving through a half shoelace. So the ankle is going to come back to the hip. The knees are going to try to be stacked. So try and bring the knee forward, the hip back, the heel back to the... You're still up on one leg, still in a Ardha Vajrasana position. And holding here. And then let's uncross and open that leg up. Nice long side plank. Looking up past the armpit. And let's inhale up and lifting those toes. Okay, having the toes come back towards us, keeping the side body opening. And find your toes or knee or ankle or use your strap. And let's exhale down and we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So take a moment, if you need a little wiggle, you need a little shake, you need a little jiggle, whatever you got. Opposite leg, lining up the toes and the knees. So many things to think about. Let's come into an easy twist. So inhaling, arms up, tips so the fingers touching, opposite elbow to the opposite knee. And a little bit of a twist and coming back. Crossing the leg over. A little bit of a balance. One breath. Releasing, coming into our figure four. Still balancing on one side. Maybe. And release. Bring the knees on top of each other. Bring this heel back towards your hip. sitting in a half shoelace. One breath, and let's open the body. So leg coming all the way out, lengthening into a nice side angle or a side plank. And exhale up and lifting the toes. So the fingers and the toes come together, or the hands and the knee, whatever is available to you. One breath here. And exhale down. Very good. Now we're going to come into a nice 3-minute child position. Well deserved. So opening the knees, keeping the tips of the toes together. And start to wiggle into place. Prepare yourself for a 3-minute hold. So when you're ready, we're just going to walk the hands forward. Wherever you feel is your position, that is your edge. And be prepared to stay here for 3 minutes. Of course, if your hips are lifted a little bit off the heels, that's fine. If you'd like to have something to support your forehead, or maybe indeed you've got something under your chest. Sometimes if you've got a bolster or even a pillow, sometimes it's just kind of nice to have something hanging here. It might be a little bit high, but you see where I'm going with that. Having a block as well can often act as, again, just those pressure points that we're touching. It often ends up being like a massage. And in fact, many of my colleagues in yoga and students over the years have all consistently reported reduced body aches, reduced stress, reduced need for going to get a massage, reduced need for having someone coming and doing that. Just not that we don't need massage often, but just as our own compensation, right? So as our own just restorative practice. So I'll take a moment, continue to breathe, feel the wave of oxygen rolling along your spine. And remember, you have a balloon in your belly. With every inhale, your physical body becomes lighter, softer, letting go of any tension or tightness, be it physical or mental. Extending the exhale to be twice as long as your inhalation. And breathe, feeling the whole body expanding. That's 2 minutes. We're going to stay here for 1 minute more. And by now, you should be feeling the phase changing within the body. The joints starting to release chemicals to rejuvenate and restore our body to a natural state of health and wellness. Allow your forehead to be flat on the ground. And on your next breath, that is 3-minute mark, ladies and gentlemen. So when you're ready, slowly start to walk the hands back. And again, in yin postures, when we hold and activate that deep fascia tissue, we will feel tight. We might feel a little bit stiff coming out of that. Just give a little bit of a movement, rolling, twisting, whatever you need to restore yourself back to a normal position. You might even want to give a little bit of a self-massage. Or I lived in Korea was my first country that I lived overseas, and I always used to love seeing the ajima walking in the parks and, kind of just walking and also taking care of their circulation. And
Just such wonderful routines, wonderful habits that Western culture has completely forgotten, and hopefully with all of this change happening now, we'll come back into those self-care strategies. Let's come into a table position. We're going to do a bit of movement here. So lining up your joints, first knuckle, this first knuckle of your first finger, that always takes the weight. If our weight goes there, we can feel the rest of the body start to line up. Let's start to play with that. What's the difference with the bones and the skins and the tendons, right? So move that all around and just start to gain an appreciation of the many, many different moving parts that are literally holding our body together. And we will go through this next sequence again with a bit of a breath, and we will hold some yin as we go through. If you'd like to do a few cat-cow again, just to warm up the spine, whether they're lifting or sort of twisting side to side, or again shifting the weight forward, however you feel best coming into your body. And when you're ready, strengthen yourself and come into a balance. So we'll start with the left leg. Point your toes and maybe now flex. Little stretch in the ankles, rounding if you like. And if that's where you're at, that's a beautiful place. You feel pressure in the lower back, activating the sacrum, activating the glutes. If you'd like to come in for a balance, opposite arm, and the palm is facing inward. Everything now kind of squeezing into the midline. And again, imagine your fingers are being pulled, toes are being pulled. And let's dance. Knee to the nose, exhale to the rib, rounding that spine, creating space, over-exaggerating that creation, and then lengthen a little bit further than last time. Imagine we had some index to measure. We could really quantify what's happening here in the body. 3 or 4 like this, nice and slow, following your breath, inhaling up, exhaling down. On your next inhale, let's come into a binding. So bending the knee, looping the arm back, bringing the hand to the top of the foot, and then pushing into the hand, into the front of the, front of the toes, front of the foot. Keep the weight on your first knuckle. Breathing here for a moment. And then let's exhale into a fuller shoelace now. So dropping the ankle and the knee down. The knees come into nice and tight with each other. And then open the feet out to the side and exhale. Let the hips sink down. And we'll stay here for 5 deep breaths. 4. 3. 2. 1. Even that little bit of time, you should feel the hips opening, releasing. Inhale, shift the weight forward, lift that leg up and out to the side. We'll come into a few side twists. So if your left leg is out, your left hand is flat in the center in front of you. Inhaling up, stack the shoulders, twisting throughout the spine. Exhaling down. Right hand comes to the center of the mat, inhaling up. Again, stacking the shoulders. And now as we exhale, let's come towards the ankle. If you can't grab the ankle, the knee, the calf, anything at all. And as we inhale, let's have that arm lifting. Beautiful. And one last shoulder stretch. So the upper arm now, we're going to loop
thread all the way down, coming back into a half. Ardha is half, so a half Vajrasana. So we are sitting up on the heels, and as we exhale, so we're up here, we're up here, and as we exhale down, our hand is going to loop down, and we're going to come just behind the opposite foot. Try to get the shoulder down on the inside of the knee. Opposite hand can also be participating in the stretch. And as you're ready, let's come back up and bring the hands forward. And stepping forward, the foot coming to the outer edge of the mat, we'll come into a front lunge. Just for a breath. And when we're ready, walking into a pigeon position. So walking the feet over, opposite foot to the opposite corner of the mat, same knee to the same corner of the mat, depending on the availability in your hips today. And it isn't the same every day, so don't expect that it's the same as it was yesterday. For a bit more open hips, you can have your foot squared in line with the top of the mat. If they're a bit tighter, just bring the heel in wherever you find yourself. We're going to stay here for 2 minutes. So get comfortable, find your edge. And your edge, as you know by now, is where you are at about 70% of your full capacity. Again, in a forward bend, we have a position of submission, both physical and mental. Focusing on sending oxygen, freshly oxygenated blood into the upper back quadrants of the lungs, and let that blood disperse through the body and follow. When and how long can you follow that breath? Scanning your consciousness through the body, relax your jaw. Might even want to give it a little wiggle side to side. The hip and the jaw are connected. They are both the seat of emotion. And by rhythmic law, when one unhinges, the other follows suit. That's just over 1 minute here. We'll hold for 1 minute more. And again, if this is tight or if it's not comfortable for the full hold, come out of the position. Come into your body, come into your breath. Or just ease up a few inches, a few millimeters. Or contrarily, ease back deeper, reclaiming the space of the body. We'll hold here for another few deep breaths. And when you're ready, let's lift the head, walk the hands back, and come back to our original tabletop position. Again, if you'd like a few cat-cows or just wiggling the hips side to side as we prepare to do the same thing on the opposite side. And lining up the joints. When you're ready, we'll now take the opposite leg. So right leg in my case. A few ankle circles, or flexion and extension. Feeling the back of the knee opening. And if you'd like to introduce the opposite arm, that's what we're aiming for. But that is not the final destination. It is not the ultimate destination. It is a stop along the way, and it may not be on our itinerary today at all. If it is, when you're ready, both limbs coming in or just the leg, knee to the nose, elbow to the rib, 3 or 4 times, lengthening your breath with every movement. Inhaling as we lift, exhaling as we fold and contract. And when you're ready, on your next inhale, we're going to come up, bend the foot, reaching back and pressing the front of the foot into the palm of the hand, making sure you keep your weight on the first front knuckle on that standing hand. Don't lose your balance. And breathe here. Let the diaphragm drop. Let it stretch out, taking space. And keep your breath deepening so that you keep that space. The elasticity does not come back in. Exhale, drop the hand down, drop the knee down, tuck the knees in tight to each other. We'll come into a shoelace position. So tucking them in as tight as they go and then opening the hips, opening the feet. And when you're ready, we'll come into a shoelace position again for 5 deep breaths. If you are hanging hips up in the air, that's beautiful. If you are sitting, also beautiful. We'll hold here for 5. And 3. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale, bring that upper leg up and over and out to the side. The right leg is out. Bring the left arm up. It's coming into a bit of a twist. And 1 breath only, exhaling down, inhaling up. And remember to keep your balance, your edge, and your focus on the outside of that standing foot. And as we exhale, dropping the hand to the ankle and inhaling up. Naturally, our arm is going to come up as well. That's fine. And now we're going to do one last shoulder stretch. So bring this upper arm all the way down, looping it through, coming into Ardha Vajrasana, and bringing the hand to the outside of the ankle. Opposite arm can participate, just really stretching there, the hips and the ankles, shoulders and wrists. And breathing here. On your next inhale, coming up, dropping the hands forward, stepping up with the foot. We'll come into, the foot should be angling towards the corner of the front mat. And just holding this lunge for a moment. And when you're ready, walking into a pigeon position. And again, find your place of comfort. One side is not the same as the other. Come into your body, come into your space. And when you're ready, let's walk the hands forward. And we will hold this for 2 minutes.
Continuing to hold here. That's just over 1 minute. We will hold this for another 45 seconds or so. Keep my hips squared. And again, the key to deepening a yin position is time, stillness, and your edge. So those three things will help take us to the next level. Taking one more breath here. Let's inhale, start to walk the hands back. And this time we'll just lean over onto our tailbones. And we'll hold here for just a bit of a hug, kind of lifting your back and your chest up as high as you can, hanging on to the knees and coming into that basket type of thing. So leaning back, don't let go of your knees and feel your tailbone, your sacrum just lengthen, extend, and let go. Stay here for a minute, rock side to side. Feel the fleshy parts, the sweet sensations that you might come across here. And then again, inhale as we lift. This can be a nice abdominal work as well, not only a massage. And as we come forward, let's try to keep our knees opening just for a minute. Come forward as far as we can, and then exhale, bring the knees together, and again, coming back just as far as the arms allow. And then again, inhaling up, opening. And once more this time, as we prepare to let ourselves go all the way. And simply release, bringing the knees up with you and keeping the legs up in a 2 legs raised position. Let's hold them here just for a moment. Just to feel the pressure in the lower back, start to feel the circulation, or rather start to see if you can get a sense of the circulatory system. The skeletal, musculoskeletal system, of course, very easy, very tangible. It's with us. It's where we feel our most immediate pains and strains. But those deeper systems that may not be so conscious to us are also very much us. When you say, how are you? Well, where am I? Where is the I that I'm answering that question to? Where do I find myself resonating in my body? Is it my stomach, my head? Is it the left hip? In this case, just start to feel that you are the circulatory system and feel the blood dripping back down to the core of the body. Put your consciousness in your veins, in your arteries. And when you're ready, giving a bit of a kick to the legs, a bit of a bounce. And we'll come into our closing position. So keeping your strap nearby if you need it. Otherwise, simply going to cross the left over the right, coming into a figure 4. We'll hold this for a few breaths, making it a bit deeper if you'd like. Then you bring the head up, a little bit more relaxed. Just keep the spine lengthening. We'll hold for another few breaths. And when you're ready, release. Arms out to the side, palms upward in a T shape.
dropping both soles. So the right foot, the right sole easily comes down, and the left sole also comes down. So we're not coming into a full twist. We're stretching out the IT band here. As the left sole comes down, of course, our right is going to flatten out to the side. That's absolutely fine because our target here is the IT band, the hip flexors, and of course, the hamstrings. And breathe. As we prepare to come into the twist, holding the depth of your breath, not succumbing into the twist. So as you prepare, exhale, dropping the knee down, right hand can act as a bit of a foundation. The left hand can come to bind the reverse. And just let the body completely let go. And breathe. Now here is where you may want to bring the strap in. So as we prepare to release the feet, release our arms, we're going to bring that upper leg up all the way over through our figure 4 position and then extending it out all the way to the side. So if you're comfortable here grabbing onto the foot, great. Otherwise, use your strap. We'll hold here for a few deep breaths. Feeling that full range of motion in the hip socket, feeling the relaxation in the back. We did a lot of spinal movement in the first half, and in the second, really focused on releasing. And when you're ready, let's bring the foot back, and we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. So bringing right over the left, making sure the bones are not causing pain. Finding binding. And we'll hold here for a few deep breaths. And when you're ready, release the calf, sole to sole. So arms out to a T-shaped position, dropping the left sole and slowly dropping the right. And if you feel that you're not quite getting it here, just aim both toes away from you. So the more that you start to open your ankles, and you're going to get an external rotation to both of your thighs, the femurs just start to open, and let's just chill here for a minute. Breathing into the belly, being sure not to hold or not to create any deeper tension here. As we twist, our body may want to compensate. Just relax, trust the process. Reminding yourself of the balloon in your belly. And on your next exhale, twisting, coming all the way down. Hands can find binding on the outside of the knee as well as the back foot. And just relax here. We'll hold this for a few deep breaths.
And when you're ready, preparing to unravel the twist, coming back through and bring the legs up, windshield wiper side to side, over exaggerating as the knees go to one side, turning to the opposite side, keeping the shoulders grounded, the hips can lift. And when you're ready, let's just let those legs continue to extend, and we'll come into a Shavasana position. So closing your eyes, open your heart, deepen your breath. Relax your body. Be aware of your sense of space. Be aware of the heaviness in your body. Reminding yourself of the balloon in your belly. With every inhale you lift, with every exhale, let it go. Whatever ails you, just as mist rises from a morning, spring, or pond, so too does stress and tension so easily release from the body. Stay here for as long as you so desire. Otherwise, preparing to return, slowly begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, allowing the head to turn to the left, pressing the ear to the earth and to the opposite side, feeling the massage on the back of your skull. Inhale, arms up, shoulders down, interlacing the fingers, stretching to the left side and to the right side. Inhaling, knees into the chest and rocking side to side slowly, making circles, big, small, or medium. Or finding stillness as your body desires. Just listen. And when you're ready, on your next exhale, coming down onto the right side, using the right bicep as a pillow. In the original yoga position, take a moment to remember those who have brought you to where you are. Take a moment to send your love to the suffering amongst us. Allow a smile to come across the face, releasing endorphins from the practice, reminding yourself the effects of yoga continue until long after we have left the mat. And when you are ready, and only when you are ready, in your own time, nice and slowly coming back up to a comfortably seated position. And as is traditional to close the practice, I would invite you to join me. Otherwise, enjoy the vibration. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat, Atma Namaste. Thank you all very much for your time, your energy for this practice. If you have any comments, questions, or really funny jokes, as usual, please send them my way. And I close the class by reminding you, you are not the body, you are not the emotions, you are not the mind, you are the light. You are what is, what was, and always.